Hey, everybody. We are back. We are ready, willing, and able to keep this train rolling here. Nice pun for those who get it in the Blackberry Smoke world. I am joined by my good friend Brian Jones here of the All Things Blues and Southern Rock podcast. This is part two of a nice little power hour that we're doing, and we'll be getting joined here by Jason in a little bit. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thanks for having us, and looking forward to this.
Yeah, so getting started, I have a feeling you could get the balls rolling and speak kindly on behalf of your co-host as well. So,
What do you
for
want?
those who,
A quick history of all things blues and southern rock.
yes, for those who don't know about you guys, let's hear how you got the show started and how you guys linked up.
Uh, well, to do the abbreviated version, it started out just as a Facebook group, just for probably 20 friends and just sharing music. And then, like you, I heard State of America, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, maybe I could do something like this, except for instead of just what's one band like they do, like you're doing, like do a multitude of bands. And one of the goals was to really show the relation between rock and roll, country, soul, and blues and all this that goes into the thing that's called Southern rock. And the farther you go back in time, there weren't so much like things weren't separated out into lanes. They're
Sure.
really quite similar. So got started in July of 2020, and I had someone helping me temporarily. But then when it came time to get an actual full-time co-host, I again went to the wealth of information that is the state of America and called up David Hudson. And I go, I'm looking for a co-host. You got anybody recommend anybody? And he's like, yeah, Jason Johannes, because he had done their By Your Side episode.
Oh,
So
okay.
we had a Zoom and hit it off, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty neat how in today's society, like you're in North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken,
Fargo,
based in,
North Dakota.
yes, and he's in Ohio, and it's like I'm here in Pennsylvania, you're in North Dakota, we could call each other up and just start chatting like this. And, you know, o- less than 20 years ago, you couldn't even do that
Oh,
unless you had
right,
like
right.
you did a three-way phone call, and then there was
Yeah.
really no way to record it. So it's pretty neat how we're able to link up and talk like this. And I think it's super important too because it's an opportunity for people to find out more things like in the world of music too. Like, there could be a really smoking regional band from
Hmm.
out in the Midwest and the
Right.
North like that nobody knows about. And you're like, actually, everybody could know about this band and they deserve to be known because there's a lot of national music and radio music that's getting forced upon us that a lot of us don't like.
Right. Right.
So the stuff that we do want to hear, you have to dig nowadays to get really good stuff, and it's good with like as evil of a thing as streaming is. It's good that streaming is there like Spotify and Apple Music because you could search for an artist and listen to them on the spot and get to know them and help their audience grow. Because I'm still a big believer that word of mouth is the best way to spread
Right.
information
Right.
because it's more trustworthy. So.
It's such a double-edged sword because, you know, the artists, some that were, that are our friends, they're not getting compensated. But I have found so many bands that I don't think I would have ever came across that I saw on
Oh yeah.
Spotify. Because you go down to the bottom and it says artists you may like this or whatever, and then you can find different artists. Um, so yeah, it's it's like it's kind of a thing for the consumer. It's good, but I wish, they didn't have all like the market cornered on music promotion. I wish we could do that. I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
we try, but I mean, I wish we could be like the main, you
We're
know,
more
give me that
grassroots than
music first. Yeah.
but, it's yeah, we're at the mercy of the algorithm, if you will, quote
Hmm.
unquote algorithm, because I remember like submitting original music with my old rock band. Like when you're doing the distribution, they ask you, who do you sound like? What are some of the
Yeah.
artists that you would they almost ask you like pick a festival that you would be in on. And that
Hmm.
certainly helps. And that actually I've had a few organic Pandora radio polls on my band because of that, listening to, like, Clutch Radio and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and stuff like that. I'm like, "Whoa, how about that?" And then I go on to I log on to CD Baby and see how much we made on Pandora, and it's like 48 cents.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, "All right, that's not gonna pay for anything, but at least I feel good about it." So, so how many years have you guys been doing the podcast?
Like I said, started in July of 20, started during the
Oh, okay, so
pandemic.
wow.
So yeah, we're coming up on 6 years here. This is episode 290, or the one that you're on. That's a part one of this is episode 299, and then we're cutting an episode Monday night. That's gonna be a 300th
Nice.
episode.
Do you think after doing the first one, I'm sure this is such a cliche question, but after doing episode 1, did you see a 300th episode in the horizon? Or were you like, "Man, that was a lot of fun. I hope we could do 10."
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any prognosis either way that it was just going to be a few or it was going to be a lot. I just thought try, and if that works, keep going. I
Yeah,
guess I didn't really know for sure. Is this going for years and years? Is it going for a year? Is it going for? And
yeah.
it's kept going, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been really cool and develop these relationships, long-term relationships and friends in musicians and the music community and everything. It's been so rewarding. I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, I mean, how many of your musical heroes have you met through doing that, just talking to them, like, that we would never dream of as kids
Right.
listening to some of these
Exactly.
bands?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he'd have to wait out I learned early on, you wait outside the back of the venue, sometimes you could catch the band and maybe get a hello or I'm not one to hunt autographs or anything
Mhm.
like that, but just get a hello and, "Hey, guys, nice show," and
Right.
something like that. The mo the biggest guy I ever met by doing that was Slash when he was
Oh,
playing with
really?
Miles Kennedy and the
Nice.
Conspirators. The story behind that was my dad and I went to go see the show. It was at a theater called the Sherman Theater in Stroudsburg, which is still there, and I've seen Blackberry Smoke there twice. Um, and I brought a pickguard from my Epiphone Les Paul at the time. My dad's like, "Why do you have that?" I'm like, "I think I'm gonna get Slash to sign it." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, kid. What keep dreaming, brother. We'll see how that works." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I know that the Sherman Theater has the loadout door right behind the
Mhm.
venue there, so we probably after the show, we probably waited for close to, like, 35, 40 minutes and, like, a
Mhm.
little bit of a line for him, but Slash came out and signed every autograph there and, was super kind, and I think he was a little appreciative that, like, I had a Les Paul pickguard for him to sign because people were reaching for anything for him to sign just to say they got
Right,
Slash to
right.
sign napkins, and
Yeah.
I think someone had him
Little
sign a
receipt
Mountain
in your
Dew bottle.
pocket from the grocery
Yeah.
store.
It's it's so silly, so through the Facebook group then, podcast is how did you find out about Blackberry Smoke? Did you know about them
Well,
prior, or were you
well,
introduced through the community?
as far as Blackberry Smoke, I first I can't say for sure when I very first heard about them, but one thing I do remember is, when that metal show was still on, Eddie Trunk and Don
Right, right,
Jameson
right.
and Jim Florentine, and they'd have a segment where they'd bring up a new band, or newer band. And
Yeah.
so, Jim Florentine, he holds up the whippoorwill. He goes, "It's kind of a cross between the Black Crowes and Leonard Skinner." And I don't know how much I, tried to find their music at that point. This is like, well, I might have been right around the whippoorwill when that came out. Um, but it took a while before it resonated with me for some reason. But what I do remember is when the Black Crowes broke up and Magpie Salute was going, Rich's band Magpie Salute with Mark Ford and
Mhm.
Sven. Um, at that time, I think when they were in between records, someone had posted on their fan group about like, what other stuff are you listening to? And I came across a lot of stuff. I think very late 2017 is when I first started checking out Blackberry Smoke on YouTube, and it is just like, oh my god, like this fall in love hardcore right away, just like the Black Crows. Very very cool. But I heard about other bands too, and I always remember that post. and,
Mhm.
Tyler Bright and the Shakedown. I came across Bishop Gunn, Magnolia Bayou, several others, so it's very cool. So it just kind of, once the ball got rolling for my liking Blackberry Smoke, I just absorbed everything so quickly and, buying, trying to get every record. And, my first show, my wife and I, our first show was at the Hinterland Festival, which is near Des Moines. That was in August of 2018. So yeah, like I said, I heard of Blackberry Smoke, and I had heard a good one coming on, and it just, when I heard that first, it just didn't catch me. It just didn't resonate with me. But when Shake Your Moneymaker came out, that didn't resonate with me. It took me to get into the Southern Harmony to really get into the Black Crowes. So a little bit later, and yeah, I was head over heels.
You had mentioned Tyler Bryant, and on your guys' show, we had talked about like some of the opening bands that
Hmm.
we found through Blackberry Smoke, and Tyler Bryant's one of those for me.
Yeah.
I kind of drew a blank when you guys had asked me, and I had some time to think on it. And I remember at the Stone Pony show in New
Hmm.
Jersey, Tyler Bryant was supposed to be the opener, and he was, but it was supposed to be the full band, and
Great.
their van broke down on the way to the show.
Okay.
So he hitched a ride and just played a solo acoustic set with one of Charlie's acoustics and a looper pedal. And I remember, I don't know if I had maybe seen some of his stuff and I just wasn't quite hip to it or I didn't know too much about it, but I remember telling my friend that I was with, I'm like, I don't really know if I dig this guy or not. Like, I guess
Hmm.
we'll see how he does. And then seeing that he was doing solo acoustic, I'm like, whatever. And I mean, he blew our hair right
Right.
off of our head with
Right.
a one acoustic guitar. And I'm like, oh, this guy's got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I had my realization that it's like, wow, he's also kind of my age, and look at where he's at.
Hmm.
And I like, you have one of those like, man, what am I doing? I gotta start practicing. And years later, just after the pandemic, Blackberry Smoke did a show in Orange County, New York, just outside of Middletown,
Hmm.
at a racetrack there, and
Okay.
it was them. It was Nick Perry and the Underground Thieves, and it was Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, and for the life of me, I can't remember, there was a girl that had opened up, and she had, like, a little three-piece band,
Hmm.
and, Tyler Bryant played, and I had talked to him after their set. They were standing out at their merch table. I said, I'm sure you remember because it's an odd thing, but I told him about the Stone Pony thing. He's like, "Yeah, man, that day sucked." He's like, "Everything that coulda went wrong that day went wrong," and
Hmm.
I'm like, "Well, everybody was blown away by your solo set, like, that was really cool of you to do that," and it's cool because going back to what we were saying before, this kinda communal thing that we got going on for, like, this style of music and the more, like, word of mouth grassroots movement, like, it's so nice to be able to talk to some of your favorite artists and, like, just have a normal conversation with them, and there's no more, like, barrier that there used to be
Right.
in the
Yeah.
world of rock and roll,
Yeah.
like, the mystery's a little bit gone because,
Yeah.
like I was saying on your guys' episode, I was talking to Jared James Nichols about changing diapers.
Yeah. Right.
But
Well,
like, you wouldn't have had that back in the day of when, like, Guns N' Roses and them were at the peak of their powers because you never saw them. Um, I think did you read Steve Gorman's book?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, and he talks about the Rolling Stones and, like, the whole point of their fireworks show after the
Hmm.
concert was so they could get to the hotel in time,
Right.
and I'm like, "That is so ingenious," like, people are still thinking that, like, the show's going on because of the fireworks, and they're already, you know,
Right. Right.
winding down for the night.
Yeah. Or heading back to the airport. Yeah. Or at
Yeah.
their in their plane.
Yeah, right? They're on the tarmac already. Um So we'll branch off a little bit because I know we're supposed to be kind of focusing on Blackberry Smoke, but since it's crossover, we could talk about all things blues and southern rock too.
Sure.
What is one artist that you were introduced to through the community that you hadn't quite known about? Like someone tipped you off to them and they became one of your favorites.
Wow.
Open-ended question, right?
I mean, there's several. I mean, the Georgia Thunderbolts is one. Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown's another one. Um, Gosh, there's just so many. It's just hard to,
Yeah.
Otis out of Kentucky. Um, and although but one thing really, really surprised me is that we've gotten to be friends with a couple guys in the Kentucky Headhunters, of course,
Oh,
who have been
really?
around forever. And, you
Yeah.
know, and I found out, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like these guys, their brand is country, but they're a blues band. They're like a blues rock band. And, so yeah, Otis, that's another one. Um, I mean, through just people that know people, like I said, yeah, Alabama's got a great Them Dirty Roses, Taylor Honeycutt, the list goes on and on. Parker Barrow,
Mhm.
you know,
Them
Alabama's
Dirty Roses are playing 30 minutes from me,
right.
at the end of this month, and, I'm trying to figure out a way to go because I have a gig that myself earlier that evening, so I'm gonna try to be very much done right at the 9 o'clock hour and try to catch at least half of their set.
I mean,
Um
those guys, we've been able to watch them from afar, just, like work their asses off and just they're on the road all the time and getting more popular and getting holding, getting steam and moving forward and moving up and I think they're just the epitome of just like a hard working rock and roll band, working musicians.
Yeah, I learned of them through a friend of mine that had moved to Kentucky after high school and met his wife out there, and, he tipped me off to them, and it's really funny because growing up, he was never into that kinda style of music. It
Mhm.
wasn't until moving south that he kinda latched onto it, and, he I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I dig this pretty heavy," and, so, like I said, I'm kinda hoping to go see them. So, moving on to the all things blues and southern rock, who is one guest that you haven't had yet? Your white whale, someone that it's like, if we get this guest, I could die happy. We could close the show out. We could go out and get cocktails and say we did it, guys.
Um, well, we haven't had any of the guys from Whiskey Myers on, and I'd love to get one of those guys on. I've reached out a lot and just haven't got to them yet. Um, uh, as far as somebody bigger, I don't know. Uh, we do have we do have Warren Haynes coming up. We did talk to or Jason talked to him. Um,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah,
Can I be a fly on the wall for that one?
yeah,
Warren's
yeah.
my guy.
Like we had an opportunity to talk to him, and I couldn't change my work around, so Jason flew solo on that, and that's coming out in the future. Um, I don't know. It's trying to think of bigger names. I mean, like we've had one that it's just been amazing for me is Frank Hannon from Tesla, and there's certain bands coming out of the '80s. Tesla's one, Junkyard's another one, Cinderella, Kicks that are, they got thrown into that, the whole hair metal thing, and they're just really rock and roll bands, and so
Skid Row, I would argue for Skid Row on that.
yeah, so to talk to Frank Hannon, who I first heard Tesla when I was like 15 or 16 in my room, listening to the syndicated radio show, and so to talk to him is very, very cool, very cool. Who else? I don't know. I just like we're trying to get more blues people. As far as like bigger, you caught me on guard here. I know I'll think of somebody after we're all
Oh,
said and
sure.
done. I mean,
Yeah. Um, is there anybody right now that you're listening to that you feel like you're ahead of the curve on? Like, a couple years ago, I saw the Reed Southall band, which is now just
mhm,
Southall, open for
yeah,
Smoke at the Shed, and I told my friend, I'm like, I mean, they're here now, so they're probably a little further ahead than we think, but, saw them opening for Smoke, and now they're kicking off with that Whiskey Myers Black Crowes tour, and
yeah,
people are giving them killer reviews. A lot. I just actually read one shortly before we joined up today. Someone said I saw them as the Reed Southall band, and now just as Southall, they're 10 times better than they were 2 years ago.
yeah. I've
And
heard some of their stuff, and it's one band that I've listened to, but I just haven't got really dug into. Lately, and this is just the last few days. I mean, these are artists that have been around for a while that I've known about a long time, but like I've been totally getting into Whitey Morgan, Ward Davis, and Cody Jinks because
yeah, more of the
they're
modern outlaw stuff.
well, yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like it's authentic. It's like the real deal, like country. And once again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about how there was a time when there wasn't so much separation between these kinds of music. I mean,
Yeah,
Cody Jinks totally has almost like a hard rock thing going on, and Whitey Morgan and Ward Davis, they're just kind of like, this. It's kind of like if you were going to bookend something with Southern rock bands, you say there's like Leonard Skinner and Blackberry Smoke. To me, there's like guys like, Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash behind me and guys like that. And then there's, Whitey Morgan and Ward Davis. I, I just think that once again, there's an authentic form of original country that's not that different from rock and roll, or it's not that different from blues. I mean, it sounds a little different, but they're all so related.
Right. Um, Whitey Morgan, I don't remember how I got hip to him, but I heard that and I'm just like, yo, this is really this guy
Yeah.
also gets it. And then like trying to see him live is like a chore. He doesn't really play out all too much
Hmm.
because, unfortunately it's the classic tale of like when a lot of these guys aren't on the road, they're doing other, they have to still work because being a full-time, being an original artist especially it's a endless abyss of a money pit and trying to raise funds to record, trying to raise funds to tour and everything like that it was never easy and it just continues to get less and less
Hmm.
easy. And just trying to figure that out ourselves. It's like every time you want to try to travel, it's like gas goes up another 40 cents overnight and you're
Right.
like it's like, all right, we got to sell 15 more t-shirts to get to the next show. We could make it happen. But some of that white the when I hear Just Me and the Whiskey by Whitey Morgan come on, I turn into a different guy. It's like
Right.
it's good stuff.
Well, plus too, like I'm a bass player, and it's like I can actually play those kind of bass parts,
Yeah,
and that's, if there was any potential for me to play out like in this area, like that stuff's really big, that kind of
yeah.
music.
Yeah, there's definitely a revival of this style of thing. I think we were talking about it on the previous episode. A lot, people are searching for authenticity more and more,
Hmm.
and it's like this style of music. Hey,
Hey,
look
look
who
who's
joined!
here!
Woo!
Like Mission
Now
Impossible, I made it into Fort Knox.
Riverside is not easy to get into, as we learned today. So
No, and
I'm
I'm
going
using
to
a
be
MacBook,
sending.
and it wanted me to use Google, so there's
Uh,
that.
yeah, that's fun too. But hey, the important part is you're here,
I made it.
and we're only about 20 minutes in, so you didn't miss too much. Um,
Brian's handled it all. I'm
yeah.
full faith in him. He's the one you want to talk to, anyways. I don't have anything
Well,
important to say.
it's funny how it all ties together
Too
because Brian
modest, he
was
is too modest.
No,
Brian
I've
was
I've
filling
heard our
me in
podcast, Brian.
that you guys got linked up together through State of America. So it's
That's
like,
correct.
Yep.
are they the ultimate podcast?
I
Are they
mean,
the ones starting this grassroots movement? Like I keep saying today, that we're all just
In this kind of music, I think so. Yeah.
for sure,
yeah,
I would say so. And you're talking about Blackberry Smoke ties to the Black Crows. We do blues and Southern rock ties to the Black Crows. It kind of all starts with that band. We're all about age appropriate for the Black Crows to have started, or to really, you're a little younger than us, but to still like them when they were in a bit of their heyday. So I will say State of America is the cause of all this. If you like Tyler's podcast, blame them, or you don't like it, blame them. If you don't like all things blues and Southern rock, blame State of America. They have an online presence. Send them terrible emails. Tell them you're mad.
who came up with your guys' logo? I love the van. Like that's so old school. Like it kind of reminds me of as silly as it sounds, Jack Black driving that van around in School
School
of
of
Rock.
Rock.
Like
That was made by a guy named Chris Clark that was in a band called Babylon Shakes, and now is in a band that know the name was The Last Sin
oh
in
okay,
He he was
Baltimore
an
area.
early guest of the podcast. He's a
Yeah.
graphic artist
oh
outside, and
nice.
yeah. So
And I just had said, I had pictured originally there was a picture of like this custom van from the 70s, because I tried to think of like, what would people be driving around like when Skinner came out? They'd be driving these vans, with and you go in, there's shag rug on the
Oh
sides and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And uh but I like when he gave it a little more of a modern look, so that's always kind of been, that's one of my ultimate dreams, to have a mobile podcast studio inside a van.
In a full-size conversion van.
In
Yeah.
today's day and
carpeting.
age, that's so easy. You just got to buy the van. That's the hard part,
Yeah.
finding one that runs.
Got a van, replace all the parts, get it up to speed.
Yeah.
So
Spend $55,000, and then you have a mobile podcast.
buy it for $8, spend $50 fixing up, easy.
And only spend about $400 on the podcast.
And the good thing is gas is really cheap, so you get the 8-mile-per-hour V8 engine, no problem. Just drive it around the country.
I have noticed that Lagunitas doesn't do Jam in the Van as much as they once did. That series on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
Expensive to drive around California.
It's expensive to drive around. Absolutely.
Oh, geez, I just had a random question on the... Oh, no, you know what it was? I was thinking of you guys the other day because, so my son, he's turning 2 next month, and he's into Hot Wheels right now. And so we were at my grandma's house the other day. My uncle was there. He goes, wait a minute, I have something for him. And he came out, and it was his set of old Matchbox cars.
Oh.
And the one is the van. It's a black van. It's got flames going down the side. It's from like 1976.
Back when they still used lead-based paint on those.
Yes, we were talking about that. And there was removable parts. Like some of the cars have like little surfboards you could take
Listen,
off.
Tyler, people aren't coddled like you. When Brian and I had to go through hazardous chemicals, small parts that you could swallow, things that could cut you, live electric. We're tougher for that.
The worst I had was batteries not included. That's the worst I had. I had to laugh. The other day I saw a random thing on I think it was Facebook. It was like, you're given a Sony Walkman in the late 90s, early 2000s. What CD are you listening to?
Oh, you're even a CD. Okay, not even tape.
I'll do you guys one. I'm not as young as I appear. There was 3 cassettes my dad and I physically bought at a gas station. Gosh, probably when I was 5.
Molly Hatchet.
You're not far off. It was
Alabama.
Shake Your Moneymaker.
Okay.
Aerosmith's Done with Mirrors, which is an underrated album of theirs.
Yep.
And OU812 Van Halen.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I'm a big Van Hagar fan. Sammy Hagar is actually the reason why I got into rock music in general.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we want to hear this origin story.
While we're riffing here, this is back, my parents had DirecTV for a short amount of time before that got too expensive, and his Cobble Wobble Birthday Bash was on one of the channels, and my dad put it on, and I remember seeing his guitar player, Vic Johnson.
Access TV, AXS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His guitar player, Vic Johnson, was ripping, and there were girls in bikinis giving him margaritas mid-song. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And my dad's like, oh, yeah, and like being in the car with him, we would listen to it all the time. So I'm always the odd man out in the Roth versus Hagar conversation because I'm like, Sammy's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought of something the other day, and this is really going to ruffle some feathers, but I think the argument to end the Roth versus Hagar debate is Sammy was good enough that he did not need Van Halen to have a successful career. David Lee Roth's solo career is okay at best.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to probably get torn to shreds in the comments.
He has 2 really good full-length solo albums.
I'm gonna pull that for a YouTube short for sure. Get some interaction on that. But yeah, all that stuff. And that's not to say I don't love. I mean, that era of Van Halen is its own thing. And I love it. And that's when Eddie, I think, was at the peak of his guitar playing powers. And then the Hagar era is when he was
But he didn't want to play all the guitar. Yeah, he didn't want to do that with the Sammy Hagar in that version. That's okay, too. He got to do more keys and everything else. So, and
it was less
Sammy
about the party.
Yeah,
it was less about the party and more about the songs.
5150 is a great record. I love it.
Oh,
Summer Nights, that's one of my favorite Van Halen songs.
Oh, yeah. The whole 4 Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album.
That's a great one. Pound Cake Singing on Top of the World.
Those first 3, yeah.
I bought that record along with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 all within the same weeks of each other.
Ooh, here's a good one I just thought off the top of my head. What is the first album you guys bought with your own money? Going deep in the database. Mine was, I remember I had gotten Christmas money, and my grandma, like everybody's Christmas gift that year was a stereo for their bedroom.
Ooh.
and I went to the record store and I got Aerosmith's "Get Your Wings."
Okay.
That was the first album I bought with my own money. Was that? So I think I
Brian?
was destined. I was destined to like this stuff.
Yep, you were. Brian, you remember? I know what my answer is, but I'm
I
giving you a
I
chance.
I don't recall for sure because like my mom bought us records when we were a little kid, and I was in the Columbia Music and Tape Club. You get the 13 cassettes
I hope
for
you've changed your name at least
penny.
3 times so they can't find you. That's
And that, of
awesome.
course, was financed by my mom too. So, gosh, I don't know. I'm really drawing a blank as what was the first cassette that I bought with my own money, because it would have been a cassette at that point.
Yep. Mine was a cassette. So I was at the mall, the Camelot Music, really starting to get into heavy music. So I had like Weird Al and some other stuff that, the kid stuff that my parents had bought me. And I was just junior high. I think had to be 7th grade. So I'm at Camelot Music at the mall, and I'm looking at all the new or the top CD, top records out there in the hard rock section. And it's 1987, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, or Kiss 3. I'm like, I heard a little bit about Guns N' Roses. I know everybody likes Kiss, and I had older cousins and people that really into Kiss. I'm gonna buy this Kiss album.
Which one was it?
3,
Huh?
Alive 3, 3.
Oh,
See, I'm not a Kiss guy, so I'm not too
Neither am I.
familiar. You
And I
you got
wasn't.
off to a bad start.
Yes,
with
but
that.
I could have
everything up
got
to Love Gun, I'm on board with. After that,
Guns N'
not so much.
Roses. It was a very forgettable album to me. So, anyways, never had a love affair with Kiss. Brian loved early Kiss though.
Yeah, the early stuff. Yeah, I am kind of remembering one of the first cassettes I probably bought with my own money at the time too. Like even back then, when I was totally into the Los Angeles, whatever you want to call it, heavy metal, glam metal scene, and same to this day to then, like with this kind of music that we like. I'm always searching for lesser known bands. So it was probably the first Black and Blue record or the first Keel album on cassette. It's probably the two that I can remember buying with my own money.
What's the most recent album you guys bought? Not streamed,
Um,
physically bought.
Oh, that's super easy for me. I got Mojo Thunder, hymns from the Electric Church on vinyl Thursday night when I saw Mojo Thunder play.
Nice. A couple buddies of mine, they were in a band that was doing some originals for a while, and Mojo Thunder played it in State College there by Penn State
Oh, they
University,
should have done it.
and
They should have done it.
and they opened up for them, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to ask my
Uh,
friend Marty if that show ever went through. I remember them talking about it, and I remember them. It had to have happened. I don't think that's a Mandela effect. I remember that happening. But I dig Mojo Thunder. They're definitely on the heavier side of
yes.
modern day Southern rock. I feel like Southern rock is such a funny thing
Right
because
here.
so much stuff gets lumped into it now that um like you could get some really heavy stuff and people are like, oh man.
I've got the Infinite Hope, their second record.
Oh, you guys have me beat. I
I've
don't
got
have any
hymns
Mojo
on
Thunder stuff.
CD.
Well, I have hymns on CD, but because they had the vinyl, they said they made some extras for their European run and had a couple left over, and I grabbed it. By the way, it was Kiss Crazy Nights, not Alive. I was
Oh,
incorrect. I had to
that's
look it
even
up because
worse.
yeah.
But if I can, give more of a shout out to Mojo Thunder, because they just released a new single, and Jason and I were chatting. They have this thing kind of like Goodbye June has, where like nobody sounds like them,
Right.
and they have so much in their styles. Like you can't be put into one single category.
I like that. Stuff like that is so hard to come by nowadays because
Mm-hmm.
we're all playing everything that we're influenced by. So it's like, how do you not sound like all these other bands? It's hard. You have to like start playing in odd time signatures or something to
And it's
sound
a
somewhat
great thing
original.
too because they can, on different bills, they can play. They don't necessarily fit somewhere, but they kind of fit everywhere at the same time. So it's a good
Yeah.
problem to have. But if you're looking for like straight genre of something, they might not find some people. But hell, I've seen not Mojo Thunder. Goodbye June played with all sorts of artists, different artists. They
Yeah.
always fit in. I saw him play. I saw him open for Whiskey Myers too.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the first time I got to see him play. Outdoor amphitheater. It's good times.
Yeah. How many times have you seen Whiskey Myers? I've only seen them the one time, but I was like, I get it. I totally
Yeah.
get it.
Brian's seen him. That's one of Brian's bands.
Three times? No, four times.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see the Black Crowes with Whiskey Myers on the store?
Not planning on it so far.
Okay, not going to Chakopee or whatever, Minnesota?
I don't think so.
What about you, Tyler? Are you going to see the Crows and Whiskey Meyer?
I don't think they're coming anywhere close enough. Or if
Not
they
coming to
are,
Scranton? Not coming to Scranton? What?
No, it's funny. Scranton was home of the legendary Peach Festival that the Allman Brothers would put on every year, and I always wondered why that was, because we're not far from Bethel, where Woodstock happened. And it's funny, our pavilion is losing a lot of people because Bethel is so close, and if a tour stop is going to Bethel instead of Scranton. If you guys have never made that pilgrimage to go to the Woodstock Museum and see the original site and everything like that, it's totally worth it. It is quite literally out in the middle of nowhere, New York, and there's no easy way to get there. It's all back roads to get there once you get off the highway. And but the current amphitheater is off to the side. And that's where I saw the Black Crowes on the Shake Your Moneymaker anniversary tour.
Okay.
And I was bummed. One of the openers was supposed to be Dirty Honey, and they were on a festival date, and they couldn't do the Bethel show. And so I didn't get to see them on that tour.
Who did you get?
It was the Texas Gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know who that is, Brian. You know everything.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. They were good. They weren't I wasn't rushing to the merch table, but I enjoyed their music, It just wasn't my thing. I was so hyped to see LA style rock and roll that I got the Texas Gentleman was definitely more laid back, closer in the world of Band of Heathens. That I was like, all right, yeah, I'm digging this. I just wasn't in the right headspace
Little
for it.
folky. If I go to Woodstock, that area, I want to go to Levon Helm's place and kick around there. Doesn't he have his barn out that way?
So believe it or not, Woodstock, New York is about 2 hours north of where Woodstock happened.
Okay.
Yeah, Woodstock, New York. I was just actually there. It's where I bought a guitar amplifier off a fella there.
What'd you get?
My Vox AC-15.
Oh, that we were talking about.
Yeah. That was a fella that knew a lot of the cats and Little Feat and stuff like that, and he was a pro level guitar player. And Woodstock, New York itself is such a cool little music town. It's such a nice little artsy town there in the Catskills, and it's beautiful scenery and everything like that. And that's another treacherous drive to get to because there's no easy way to get there. But at Bethel, who else have I seen? I've seen Tedeschi Trucks Band at Bethel. I'm seeing Billy Strings there next month.
That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good time. Billy crowds are unique. But so speaking of buying records and everything, I kind of prompted you guys before we met up today to pick three desert island records that fit the blues and southern rock thing, because I think to pick three of any genre is really difficult. So we'll narrow it down to your guys' forte, all things blues and southern rock. So who wants to kick it off?
But I got a quick question real fast just to make sure this fits in the right category.
Yeah.
Is Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer, does that count?
That is not. I think they do a couple blues changes in one of those songs.
One song is in 145. I know it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. I'll just go to my plan B then. Brian, what do you got? Oh, sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I saw Slayer on the farewell tour. I've actually seen them a handful of times.
I love Slayer.
I saw them too.
They were.
Maybe we should do a Slayer podcast together.
Oh my gosh,
they're playing the amphitheater.
Call it Rain and Blood. That would be great.
They're playing that in its entirety this summer, I think. Well, I mean, I know they're playing it at Shakopee.
I would love to do a thrash podcast. Give me Anthrax, Megadeth, real thrash, Armored Saint. Come on, man.
Sign me up. If you're into thrash, before we get back to what we were doing, there is a local band around here. You guys were asking about the Scranton local scene, and I got to tell Brandon that I gave him a shout out. There is a group around here from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania they are as true thrash as could be. They're called Cruel Bomb.
Cruel Bomb.
Oh my gosh,
write that down.
They're the sweetest guys. My old rock band played on a couple bills with them back in the day. and their newest album, I can't remember the name of it, just dropped, but they got the dude who did all of the early Megadeth albums to do the artwork for them.
Oh,
Oh,
no
wow.
kidding.
Yeah, and it's very on the nose, and my buddy Eric recorded it at his studio, which I've known my buddy Eric for a while, and I've recorded stuff in his studio, so they're as true, honest thrash as could be, and they hit, man. They are so good. Anytime I go to see them play, it's like an event.
Brian sent a link to a band that reminds me of 80s metal, like Amarax, Brian. That was
Yeah, I
awesome.
just came
Female lead
across that
singer.
last night.
I sent it to my metalhead friends, and they all gave it the thumbs up. So you found a gem.
All right.
What are we talking about, Tyler?
Desert Island Records that fit the blues and southern rock.
I should have never joined. You guys are in trouble.
That's okay. Content, baby. That's what the world is.
I told you. I told you I was going to get everybody off track, and that's what I do. Brian, what do you got?
Okay, so I'll go with this. Even though we're all things blues and southern rock, I'll go with the southern rock first. And this is, this should be pretty obvious. It's bookends from, if you want to say the OG southern rock and what is the OG southern rock now, in this era or whatever it's saying. So obviously, Leonard Skinner presents.
Of course.
And of course, on the other end of the bookend, Blackberry Smoke, the Whippoorwill.
Okay.
So we were chatting earlier, and for all the blues stuff that I have is all like compilations, so I was really kind of thinking about, what else, Muddy Waters is the GOAT, right? He's the OG. So, 1981, Muddy Waters live from the Checkerboard Lounge with some of the guys from the Stones, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood, and there's video of it as well, and it's just super fantastic. I mean, Muddy's band plays for a little bit, and Muddy comes out, and then later on those guys come out, and if you've seen the video, like Keith Richards just walks, on top of the tables up to the stage. It's pretty badass.
Those guys were known for being badass, those Rolling Stones, so I've heard.
That's almost kind of a bookend too, because, like Muddy Waters was, doing it, 10 years, 15 years before they start playing their, interpretation of blues.
I could have predicted two of those. I was pretty sure, Brian. The third one threw me off, but that's a great choice. Definitely. We're gonna have one crossover. I bet you can't guess which one it's gonna be.
Whippoorwill.
The Whippoorwill. So I'm going to work back from most recent to oldest. So if I'm going through, I'm going Whippoorwill. Represents the 2000s. Going to the 1990s with Black Crowes, The Southern Harmony, and Musical Companion. Then I'm going to go to the 1970s. Top 3 album for me all time. Derek and the Dominoes, Layla, and other assorted love songs. That's my 3.
Nice.
Have you listened? I'm sure you guys have listened to Tedeschi Trucks do that whole album live.
Oh, yeah. It's great. Love it.
Good Lord. That is moving how well they do that and how well they respect it and stuff like that. It's some of the best just music that's out there.
Absolutely. My dad got to see Derek and the Dominoes play at the Cincinnati Music Hall when he was in college, but Dwayne was deceased by then and didn't participate with him. But still, I would have loved to be able to see the performance.
Oh, yeah.
On a sub note, the only reason Southern Harmony isn't in these 3 just because I don't really have them as a Southern rock band, although they totally can be interpreted as that. But I have, just to get off the track, just real quick, similar, but my trilogy of that, 3 records that all came out 20 years apart from each other is Rolling Stones' Exile on Main Street, the Black Crowes' Southern Harmony and Musical Companion, which came out on the same day. They must have done that on purpose. And then the Whippoorwill. So that's my trilogy.
That's great.
That's a different kind of thing. But.
And Brian's a huge Stone guy. Brian, I'm really gotten into Sticky Fingers lately, man.
Nice.
Just Sway, bitch. Man, there's some bangers on that album.
So speaking of the Stones and Blackberry Smoke crossover here, in between the times that we recorded these 2 episodes, for the fine folks listening or watching, we all changed our wardrobe and then kept recording, so it made it look like it was 2 separate days. No, just kidding. But are you guys familiar with Dean Del Rey's podcast, Let There Be Talk?
Yeah.
He had Charlie on this week, and he was talking about recording the Stoned album.
Right.
And how they recorded it straight to the mold to press the records, like old school as old school could be. And he was saying how they had to redo side 2 because the guys in the band couldn't shut up in between songs.
You could hear.
And I said, that's so funny that these guys are as season to season could be, especially at that time, and they're still laughing and joking and goofing on each other. And Charlie's over there like, will you guys just shut up? We're trying to do this. So I thought that was really neat. It's fun. It's sometimes when you're doing, you listen to someone on an episode of a podcast so many different times on different shows that the stories start to cross over. So it's like, it's fun to hear some fresh stuff like that. Plus, I didn't realize what a sunglasses connoisseur Charlie was, but now I'm like, I got to get into sunglasses apparently.
He was doing the hats, like the
Yeah.
Lone Hawk hats, I think.
Yeah.
That must be the sunglasses.
And I was very enamored to find out that he's a sneakerhead, especially with like Jordans. I'm like,
Yep.
that's kind of weird. So my 3 albums.
He's of the age. Yes. What are your 3 albums?
Are I went straight Southern rock, and one kind of you guys could determine whether or not this fits the bill or not, and then I have an audible just in case. But I have Like an Arrow.
Okay.
Government Mule's Life Before Insanity, which I consider a perfect album.
Wow, that's
yeah.
Nice.
And Brent Cobb's Shine on Rainy Day.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, Brent Cobb.
Nice.
It all counts.
And
Government Mule covers blues and Southern rock, so you get both.
They really do. If I had to pick just like a straight blues album, a more modern one, Gary Clark Jr.'s The Story of Sonny Boy Slim.
Okay.
Is a great, so many great songs on
If I had to pick any modern blues album, I'd do anything by John Mayer, because he's amazing. He's the best.
I was just tapping into Born and Raised the other day because so many people have been saying that that's really his best album. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, you know what? This actually is a really good album.
Is it? I've never heard it. I don't think I've heard one of his records ever.
Really? Oh my gosh. I couldn't tell if you were serious or not.
No,
but I've seen John Mayer twice with his band, and I saw him once with Dead and Company. And he's got, I mean, he's a songsmith. He's
a crazy good guitar player, but his solo stuff has never inspired me.
Yeah, I'm going to send you some stuff of his to listen to that I think you might like.
All
There's
right.
a couple. I'm not going to give you any full albums because some of them, like, he still plays for the ladies on a lot of his solo albums, which is good. That's how he made his money. But
I had to fight hard, Tyler, not to say John Mayall. My mouth kept wanting to say John Mayall because that would have been appropriate.
I Providence Canyon.
Oh,
That's
you
a
do?
great
You
one.
didn't get the Yeah. Look at that. Huh.
My favorite thing about the Shine on Rainy Day album is just he kind of harkens back to the old like 70s country, and the entire album there is phaser on the guitar just swirling in and out the whole time. And that, if I'm not mistaken, was Dave Cobb that produced it. And he's like, I consider him the modern day Rick Rubin. He's just, every album that dude touches is perfect. And he did the last 2 Smoke albums. He did, I mean, his big breakthrough was Chris Stapleton's Traveler. He's just done so many things. It's like he did did he do any? No, Sturgill Simpson's all self-produced, I think. I don't know if he was involved in any of Sturgill stuff, but I know that they interact with each other. But
2 modern good blues records, just really recent last year, 2 of my favorite records overall, Samantha Fish, Paper Doll, and Joanne Shaw Taylor, Black and Gold, which I think last year, that might have been my favorite record overall.
The first Shooter Jennings record, Put the O Back in Country, was produced by Dave Cobb.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything the guy does is perfect. That's a great. I wish Shooter would do more, but now that he's getting in the producing game, he's he's.
Yeah.
I think he's got another Waylon album coming out in October. They're kind of teasing.
And Whiskey Myers Mud, Dave Cobb did.
Brian, have you reached out to Dave Cobb before?
I don't think I have.
We need to.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's you guys owe it to yourselves to have him on there. There you go.
On a sub note, Leroy Powell, who was the guitar player in Shooter Jennings in the 357s, produced Whiskey Myers Firewater.
Oh.
There you go, Brian. That could answer your question. The question I had for you before, like, who's your white whale guest? So Dave Cobb is a pretty big one to get on there. And
there you go.
Talk shop with.
That's perfect.
White whale guest.
Yeah,
who did Brian say? Brian, who did you say?
I couldn't really come up with anything. I just talked about how one that I was the most impressed that I got that we've got talked to is Frank Cannon.
Oh yeah, Frank's so great. I love Tesla. He's one of the reasons I started playing guitar.
And you also said you guys haven't had anybody from Whiskey Myers on yet.
Have not had That would be good. Joe Bonamassa would definitely be a white whale at this point. He canceled like minutes before we were supposed to get on with him once, and we've been
really?
rescheduling for about a year and a half to try to get him back on.
Bummer.
We did have one of our recent white whale guests on. The episode hasn't been out, and it makes me sad because Brian was unable to attend, but at least I got to record, and I'm super excited by that.
Oh.
Yeah, I dropped that earlier. I said that.
Oh, you saw? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Little.
One of my most favorite people ever, and I got him talking about UFOs and ghosts, Brian. I know I sent you a clip, but wait until you hear it.
I haven't heard it yet, but I will soon.
And carnival games and amusement park rides. He was having a good time. I think he was laughing at least.
So we were kind of talking about Woodstock and stuff before, which leads me to another question I had thought of for you guys. What is one famous concert in history that you wish you could have been at, even if it was before you were born?
Milli Vanilli, where the tape skipped. I'm not joking.
Damn.
But I will have a real answer after Brian goes, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, if I had a time machine, there'd be a couple. One would be Woodstock, of course, and one would be when the Crows played the Pot Festival in Atlanta in the spring of '92.
Oh wow! What's
the name of that park? I forget the name of it, but
were there recordings on the 30th anniversary Shake Your Moneymaker box set from that show? There was some from like the early '90s in the Shake Your Moneymaker thing, like before they had some of their own songs they were playing. I'm like, God, dude, these guys were on it. They were quite rebellious in the early '90s. Like the hair metal was coming to a close and grunge was just getting started. And the Black Crowes were like, actually, this is what rock and roll music is supposed to sound like. And good stuff. I think if I had to pick one, we'll go back to the metal thing. I'd have to pick Metallica live in Seattle at the Coliseum in 1989.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Live shit, binge and purge.
Oh yeah. I've watched that live like so many times. Probably at an age when I shouldn't have been watching it, but my parents got me the DVD anyway.
I saw that tour, and Justice for All is the loudest thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
It was just.
It's my favorite Metallica record as well.
Yeah, I think Jason Newsted said on a few times, like front of house knew that they were punishing people with the volume.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
My real choice, though, by the way, I would totally love to have been the Milli Vanilli thing because I thought it'd been funny as hell and just amazing to see what everybody did. But 1970 Led Zeppelin at Royal Albert Hall, because Led Zeppelin and the Crows are my favorite band. I've seen the Crows a lot. I would love to have seen Led Zeppelin. And that's known to be one of their best live performances ever.
Led Zeppelin gave me one of the biggest disappointments of my life as a kid. I was
hold on. Jimmy Page and Puff Daddy doing the "Come With Me" song from the Godzilla 1998 soundtrack.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but
I didn't know that either. Thanks.
He
better let.
It's Kashmir. Know. He's playing the Kashmir riff while Puff Daddy is rapping or talking. He doesn't really rap about Godzilla. So yeah, "Come With Me," 1998.
I have a friend of mine that's a Godzilla nut. I got to show him that. If he
and
probably
that's a terrible movie.
It.
Not only is it a terrible person doing a terrible song with one of the greatest ever, but that's 98. That's a terrible Godzilla movie. It's boring. It's stupid. All right. Sorry. I ruined your Led Zeppelin story. Go ahead.
No, you did not ruin it, but you were very, very far off from what it is. And I'm curious if anybody else had this experience when they were just getting into Zeppelin. My dad was showing me some of their songs, and Houses of the Holy was one of them. Mm-hmm. So I said, I got to go out and buy that album. And I put it in my CD player, and I turn it on, and I go, where is it? It was then I found out that they didn't put it on that album because they didn't feel like it.
Oh, the song Houses of the Holy.
Yes,
it's on Physical Graffiti, yeah.
Which Physical Graffiti, I think we talked about this on the last episode, is my favorite Zeppelin album because
the greatest.
I just think that's when they were at the peak of their powers.
Greatest record of all time.
So, oddly enough, Houses of the Holy, the album's really good itself too, but it got me then to listen to Physical Graffiti. So maybe they knew what they were doing. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing.
I don't know. Brian, do you know the story behind that? Why that song was not on Houses of the Holy?
I do not know.
I don't either.
I feel like I read somewhere that when they were just doing the rundown of all the songs, it was because it kind of stuck out with the rest of the album. Like it just kind of didn't really fit the vibe. And so they moved it on to physical graffiti. That's the story I read. I don't know where I
Here we
read it or
go.
when I read it.
If we're going to trust the internets and Google, it was considered too stylistically similar to the song Dancing Days. Wanting to maintain a diverse track list, the band decided to hold the title track in their vault, eventually released 2 years later on physical graffiti.
That is so strange. The title track of this album sounds too much like another song, so let's cut the title track.
Right. Why wouldn't you move Dancing Days? By the way, last year when I saw the Blackberry Smoke in Chicago with Steepwater opening, great show, they played Dancing Days.
Yeah.
Blackberry Smoke did. They did Dancing Days. It was great.
Nice.
The first time I saw them at the Kirby Center in Wilkes-Barre, they did Hey Hey What Can I Do was their encore.
Another good one. Another good one.
Of course, I've heard them do When the Levee Breaks in the middle of Ain't Much Left to Me. Geez, I drew a blank there for a second. But your Milli Vanilli thing, it kind of sparked a memory. Believe it or not, one of the best concerts I ever been to, and I don't know if I talked about this last time, it was Paramore. A friend of mine drugged me to see Paramore, and I'm like, I'll go, man. Like, why not? You know,
She's got pipes, man. She can sing.
That band was so good, and I didn't realize how many songs of theirs I knew just because it's a generational thing, I guess. But I'm like, holy, I was blown away. I'm like, you know what? These guys are legit. And I was floored by how good of a show it was. I was like, geez, Age, thanks for bringing me onto this show. I'm glad I went now. Like, I was like kind of dreading it at first. I'm like, you know.
Did you guys hear that there's going to be a super group, Milli Vanilli Ice?
Oh my God! It's Vanilla Ice is what it's going to be. Vanilla Ice.
Milli Vanilli Ice.
Vanilla Ice, because there's one only. Rest in peace, Rob. Looking up. Going back to Paramore really fast. A guilty pleasure record for me is After Laughter. It's a very, very 80s synth rock type of. Brian's locked out. You locked him out. What happened?
Can
He's
you
like
still hear
literally.
me?
Yes, we can hear you, but your monitor is. Your camera's off. You're under a lock and key. That's what happened to me when I tried to log in. It said, I'm not allowed to get in Fort Knox.
Well, thankfully the audio still records while we're doing this.
Yes, that's the most important. Anyway, After Laughter. I'm not a big Paramore fan. Again, I think it's generational, but that record I really like because it reminds me of 80s new wave, 80s synth rock records.
So going on like the concert, so that was like one of the better ones I've been to. What is, and to no fault of the artists themselves, so we're not blaming the artists on this one because we don't ever want to speak poorly of somebody. But what's the worst concert you attended?
Brian, take it away because I've got a good one.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, 4 summers ago, saw Rat at the West Fargo Fairgrounds. Now, I used to be, I was talking earlier about, bands from the 80s in Los Angeles. They were the first concert I ever saw. I was opening for Iron Maiden, but this was, like one of the many versions of Fake Rat. It was like Stephen Pearcy and the bass player Juan Crouchier and some other guys.
Rat.
And he kind of sang the first couple of songs, and he sang through the rest of it, and it was atrocious.
He pulled a Vince Neil.
It was atrocious.
Hey, guys lose their fastball. It happens. It happens to everybody. At some point, age catches up, and you lose your fastball. Tyler, do you want to talk about your worst concert experience, or you want me to give you mine?
Go ahead, do yours, and then I'll do mine afterwards.
Mine happened also a couple years ago. My wife and I are big fans of Ryan Adams, not the Canadian Bryan Adams guy. Ryan Adams, Americana, Whiskey Town. We've seen him in concert, solo, acoustic, full band. Well, he came to a place in Columbus, so we were really excited to go. And we're at the show. He's 3 or 4 songs in, and it's over an hour he's been on stage. He's literally jamming every song he plays. Not even like good jamming, but like drugged out, extended. We left. I've never left the concert before. We were out. We took up and left. It was completely disappointing. The whole thing, I don't know if he was out of his mind, whatever he was doing. Awful, disgusting, dreadful.
Wow. He was on something that day.
He was
what it was, we'll never know. But he was feeling the jam.
He should never take whatever he was taking ever again. It was not good.
Well, I've only ever walked out of one myself, and this isn't my worst one, but I feel the need to tell it just in case anybody is wondering, if you plan on riding the rail at a Black Label Society concert,
Oof.
reconsider your options. My friend and I were like, this is so punishingly loud that it's actually unenjoyable. And I was so hyped. It was down at what used to be the Electric Factory in Philadelphia, and now it's the Franklin Center. But it was so loud. I'm like, I want to go home. Like, I'm in pain right now. But thankfully, I caught them on the next closest date to me on that run, because it was them down and Butcher Babies and Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage. It was A Devil You Know, I think, was the name of the
Wow.
band.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty stacked bill. So speaking of Killswitch Engage, though, and again, this is to no fault of the artists, because I'm sure they both played really good, but they were doing a co-headline tour with Clutch one year, and my
I
friend
love
and I were like, we
Clutch.
have to go.
I almost died at a Clutch concert once. It was great.
Oh. I almost died of boredom at this one. So there was an instance where Killswitch Engage, they were swapping who played second. So this was Killswitch Engage's time to play first. They were great. They played a lot of the hits. Clutch decided that it was time to play all of the obscurities, B-sides, deep tracks, and
Oh,
I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, what are they playing?
yeah. What
I
are they
don't
doing?
recognize any, because I'm a fan of Clutch, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know their back catalog very well. And I'm just like, he's like, dude, they are in the trenches right now with this set list. I'm like, why in the world would they do that? Says the guy
Oof.
who's like, I love when bands play their old material. But it's like, I just could not get into it. I'm like, man, I feel like I wasted my time coming down here. It was a good show. Like, the show, people were enjoying it. I was so caught off guard that I was just like, I'm not enjoying myself all that much because I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's I don't know why you would do that. Like, if at least if you want to mix in some stuff, you got to throw in some of your better known songs too, just to
Yeah.
make that the back catalog. The
Yeah, like
people like
Blackberry
you.
Smoke. Like
Yeah.
Carly says, if we don't play like these 4 songs every night, like, people won't come to see us play. And I could think there's maybe one time when I didn't see them play Good One Coming On, and it was on that acoustic tour they did a few years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
that kind of makes sense. Like, why would
Yeah,
you do
because it's
that?
not really.
But
I've got a question for you guys in this vein. Then,
I
if
love it.
you'll allow me,
Please.
give me 2 or 3 songs they're actually good songs, but you've heard them so many times that you never want to hear them ever again.
Any song?
Any song. It's got to be a good song, but you've heard it so many times you don't care if you ever hear it ever again.
I could think of 2 while Brian's thinking,
Okay.
because I could listen to them. I usually skip just because I've heard it so many times. And God above, if I have to play these songs live again, I power through it. But man, it's tough. Simple Man and Can't You See?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Those have been played a lot. Brian, do you have yours so far?
Well, off the top of my head, Dream On.
Okay. Yeah, that's another one played to death. Like, it just becomes unenjoyable, right? They're good songs, but they become unenjoyable because you've heard them so many
Can
times.
I guess one of yours, Jason?
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Tyler, that would be a really, really good choice, and that's probably in my top 5 for sure. And let me tell you a story about that. This is funny you said that. You used to be able to buy CD singles and cassette singles at one point, right?
Mhm.
This was 1992. Wayne's World had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
And
My favorite
Bohemian
movie
Rhapsody.
of all time.
Is it really? It's a great
Mhm.
movie. It's a really good choice. Well, the whole bit. I had bought that on cassette single and was in my car, and I had one friend who would just play that over and over and over and over again. And one point, I got so tired of it, I ejected the cassette single and threw it out my car window while I was driving.
That is awesome.
But I could still listen to, like, I've had enough time. But I'll throw mine out there then. Anything by Queensryche, because I had a roommate in college who owned approximately 1 CD, and it was this bootleg Queensryche live in concert, and he listened to it at least 4 times every day. We even bought him CDs on his birthday, hoping that he would play these other CDs, but no. Queensryche. So Queensryche, I just can't listen to any song. But my two real ones are Enter Sandman and my Metallica, and Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Man,
I was
I've
gonna
heard
say
that
that
so many
too.
times. Like I will play that on guitar at home just for fun, or particularly like the solo or like the little finger pick intro because it's fun. But
Yeah.
I pass it up if it comes on the radio now. I just can't listen to it.
That ties into Wayne's World too. No Stairway.
Stairway denied.
What do you got, Brian?
Well, I was gonna say I said Dream On and
Oh, you
Stairway to
just
Heaven.
oh, that's right. Okay, I
You
didn't hear
agree
you
with
say
me?
Stairway to Heaven.
That's why we do a podcast together. We pick the Whippoorwill. We pick Stairway. Like we're just attuned to each other.
Thunderstruck.
Ooh,
That's
I've
played
played
a lot of sporting events.
I've played the Thunderstruck drinking game a handful of times in college, so I could do without hearing that one too.
Is it drink every time you hear the word thunderstruck?
Every time they say thunder, you have to
Okay,
drink,
thunder.
and you keep drinking
Thunder.
until they say it again. Then you stop.
Well, you don't hardly make it out of the intro to the first verse at that point.
Yeah, there's one point where there's like a minute and a half where they go without saying it again, so that was tough, and that is part of the reason why I choose lemonade now. But
Anybody end up in the emergency room?
not that I've played. Thankfully, we were soft and we were nursing our drinks while doing it. But
Smart, very smart. Kids, if you're listening out there, know how to take advantage of drinking games so you don't actually fully abuse yourself.
so going back to the Dean Del Rey thing that he was talking to Charlie. Charlie was saying how he had to kind of stop reading comments on social media because they would come out with a new album and they'd be really proud of it, and then people would come in and be like, "Oh, I hate it. This isn't like their old stuff." And is there any band or artist? Because like, I think people are cheating themselves a bit. It's like I always joke because sometimes I see people in comment sections on Facebook posts and stuff like that saying like, you know, their best album was Little Piece of Dixie, and I'm like, they weren't even getting started yet. Like, it could be argued that their best is the Whippoorwill, you know, and I'll argue against that all the time because you know, the Whippoorwill is of course their most known album,
Right.
but I don't think it's their best. But like, it's interesting to see like the early albums had a lot of songs that were co-written without any of them. Like David Lee Murphy wrote Good One Coming On. He helped write Ain't Much Left of Me and stuff like that. And you could hear that influence in those songs. But as like they've grown as a band and as Charlie's grown as a songwriter, like every album, like this, it's so cool to hear how their sound has changed.
Mhm.
So are there any other artists that over the years you really enjoyed how they grew as a group and how you listen back to their older albums and like you're like, they were at a point in their life on this album, but now they really matured musically and like they're putting out their best stuff now. Because people love to live in the past with stuff like that, but like there's nothing more exciting than one of your favorite bands putting out new music, you know? So, and is there any bands that put out new music and you were just like devastated with how not into it you were?
Recent
God,
Black
these are hard
Crowes.
questions to.
You don't, you're not digging the new Crow stuff?
No.
Happiness
I'm-
Bastards, I love that album.
I don't like
That's-
the production quality of it. I think the songs are okay. It's clearly just Chris and Rich, not really listening to anybody else right now. I
Yeah.
like the band approach of some of their, you know, I love By Your Side, and those guys did that pretty much themselves with Gorman.
I'm a big By Your Side fan. That's
So
one of their
they got
best
it in
albums
them.
for sure. I'm
So
also a
that's
big
my
Lions
disappointment.
fan.
Yeah, I love Lions. I love Warpwell. I love 2/3 of Warpaint. I don't like Before the Frost, After the Freeze. It's too
Folky.
singer-songwriting.
Done at Levon Helm's place.
Yes, done at Levon Helm's place. Now the live stuff is great. They have from there. If you
Yeah.
watch the Cabin Fever DVD and all that, great. Somebody new, Brian. If you know that one, because I'm gonna have to think about that. That's grown on you later on. That they changed. I have to look through some of my records and see.
I guess I didn't hate the Metallica Load records. I thought they were all good.
Oh, okay. That's up there with the Van Hagar versus David Lee Roth conversation because Load and Reload are very polarizing albums in the Metallica fan base, and it's either you love them or you don't. And they had some great songs in there, and like why not try new things? You could only
Mhm.
do the thrash stuff for so long before it gets and like, Bob Rock definitely helped get them out of that, whether it was intentional or not. And it's just
Saint
not
Anger, however, is just like, nope.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
Frantic's a good song.
I'll go with LA Guns, to be honest with you. Like I like their first two records a lot, and then I just sort of that scene broke and everything else was going on. I never really paid attention to them. And about 3 or 4 years ago, they started putting out records every year, and I caught up with some of their recent stuff. Phil was back, Tracy, sort of like the core guys, and it was really good. So I went back and listened to the catalog, at least the catalogs with Tracy and Phil and kind of the original stuff. And really, that got me super into LA Guns. So like their last 4 records got me to go back and really get into them. Now LA Guns is one of my favorite bands to see live right now.
Probably one of the bands that I don't like the newer stuff. Like their first 2 albums are my favorites by them, and then their third album was I like a couple songs on it, and then their last one wasn't for me. Was the Steel Woods.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, their first 2 albums are like
I would
certified
agree.
bangers, and then All Your Stones was good. I liked a lot of the songs on it, and then the most recent one, I can't even remember the title of the most recent album off the top
Tyler,
of
I
my head.
think Brian's being abducted by aliens, and they're transporting up to the ship through a tractor beam at the moment.
Yeah, the video went back on my phone here, so
Okay.
The tech
tell a
demons are
long story
trying.
so I can try to figure this out. And I
Jason,
need
you're
to
the
battle
story guy.
Rick.
What do you got?
What do, what do I have? What do I have? Let's see. Can you hear that ruckus upstairs at my house right now? Because I can hear it very
No,
clearly.
no.
It's while I was late, my daughter and her boyfriend came to have dinner an hour late, and getting ready to go back to school. She's got an internship she's starting,
Oh, nice.
and there's chaos afoot. There's chaos afoot. So I'm glad you guys can't hear it because I certainly can hear the chaos. And my wife was gone for 10 days in Florida with friends. I just picked her up early this morning. They haven't seen each other. My daughter had been in the Netherlands on a study abroad. So a lot of family reunion going on right now. But of course,
Ah,
I've been with everybody. So I'm down here talking to you guys
okay.
because I haven't seen you guys in a
Your
week.
social battery has run out for the day. Here I'll prompt you with the good one. Who's an up and coming artist that you feel like you're ahead of the curve on? I think I had asked Brian this earlier. Someone that like might only have an album out or two. Not really, not
Jack's
really on the
Hollow.
Jack's Hollow. I'm gonna write that down because I want to check that out.
Jack's Hollow or Leilani Kilgore. Those are two really good bands to take that. Jailer out of the UK,
Okay.
Jaylor, Jailer. The band Feel, although they're kind of getting to be known a little bit
Yeah,
right
they're
now because they've opened some big dogs, including Blackberry Smoke and the Black
on several
Crows.
occasions. Yes,
Yeah, on several occasions.
I
I
saw
mean,
them open for Dirty Honey actually.
yeah. I think when you were on ours, the
Yeah, we
first
had
half,
talked
we
about
talked about that. But the good thing about our podcast, what we're doing is we have a lot of up and coming bands, under the radar bands, and established, well known acts or artists. So we get a chance to really catch on some people before or artists before they really get rocking. Man, the Georgia Thunderbolts only have 2 records. They're
Yeah.
sort of they're not doing anything right now. That's a really good band, especially if you like Leonard Skinner.
Oh yeah.
But they stopped touring and playing because of a health issue. One of the members of the band. But Jack's Hollow, Leilani Kilgore are good choices. Jailer is a good choice, and man, I don't know. Boy, it's just we talked to so many people. It's like a whole cauldron mixed together and
Yeah.
boiling, rock and roll spellcast going on.
Probably one that I think is gonna blow up here soon and get really well known is that fella Andy Thomas. That he opened for Smoke on the Mid Atlantic,
Yeah.
a couple Mid Atlantic dates, and he just dropped his first album. I think this past week,
Well,
2 weeks ago
Parker
maybe.
Barrow, I would say
Yeah.
Parker Barrow is absolutely that band too. They have a full length record LP. They have an EP out. Um, that band's probably going to blow up. So, and if
Yeah.
you've seen them, you saw them at the Shed at a date. They've opened up Blackberry Smoke a couple times. Parker Barrow is going to be my ultimate choice, Tyler. Now that I think
All
about it,
right. That's your final answer, Regis.
that's my final answer. Final Jeopardy. I'm betting my whole amount. Parker Barrow. There you go. That's who I'd lay money on right now of doing a little something out there.
All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour and 15 minutes. We have the
Only
gift
because I
gab.
was late. Sorry.
Oh, not at all. So I'm going to prompt you guys with one more question.
Okay.
You have to come up with a 4-band lineup for a festival
Okay.
with 2 lesser known openers. So 6 bands total.
Okay.
Off the top of your head. And they're playing at your favorite venue in your hometown, and you're the MC for the event.
Okay.
Who are the bands?
6 bands. Are they all have to be current artists, like touring, alive, all that?
Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we could turn some people onto some new bands.
Okay. Man, 6 bands. That's a lot, dude. That's a
Two
lot.
lesser knowns and then 4 heavy hitters. And I mean, they could be big names. I'm
Okay.
talking like stadium level
Here's what
guys
we're
if
going
you
to
want them
do.
to be.
We're going to start with Jack's Hollow.
Okay.
We're going to go into Parker Barrow.
Okay.
Okay. Those are going to be kind of our newer, a little bit less time, but an opportunity to hop out in front of you. Now we need four bangers right now, right?
Yes.
We need 4 bangers. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go Dirty Honey.
All right.
I'm going to go The Cold Stairs.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to do The Black Crows.
Okay.
And closing the evening, Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah. This guy gets it. If I have to go, Brian, are you still there, my friend?
Oh, yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you
very
guys.
good, very good. Good, we could hear you. Okay. So, do you have picks yet, or do you want me to go
I didn't
while
take
you're
Mojo
thinking?
Thunder because I would have taken him, but Brian's going to take him. So I'm not going to have one of the same answers.
What was the question?
You have to come up. It's a
Festival.
a festival in your hometown at your biggest venue. You got to pick 4 heavy hitter bands, like 4 big names that you want to see, and then 2 opening bands that you think are like the next big thing.
Okay. Blackberry Smoke, Whiskey Myers, Tesla.
Oh, Tesla. That's a good choice. Oof. I should have taken that one.
Well, you just got to go to Brian's festival. That's all.
Trying to think of the 4th. I'm drawing a blank.
And it doesn't have to be style specific. It could be you could have
Right,
Blackberry Smoke playing
right.
with Metallica if you want.
Take Tom Kiefer. Take Brother Kane. Get Tony out there.
Yeah, we'll throw Brother Kane in there, and you
They're
said
so good
2
live.
lesser known. I will go with Mojo Thunder and Dread Buffalo.
Oh, Dread Buffalo, great choice.
I think I found out about those
Massachusetts.
guys. I think I found out of those guys from you guys. Did I? Is that a
Probably.
real thing? Yeah.
Brian's a legit talent scout. He grabs really great artists. I'm lucky because I get to find out about them through Brian.
Brian, work for Live Nation and turn that company around.
Now we're gonna bury their asses.
Fire everybody.
We're gonna start a competitor and crush them and do right by the artists and the venues.
It's going to be a
what we're gonna
building
do.
year like in sports.
I'm
Now,
gonna
I asked this question.
I'm gonna bet on Parker Barrow, and I'm gonna win
Okay.
a lot of money, and then we're gonna start this company, the 3 of us, and we're gonna crush
love
Live
it.
Nation.
Now, I asked this question without having an answer myself. So if I have to, just off of the cuff here, I'm going headliner, top of the bill, Blackberry Smoke, obviously. I like the Black Crows and Whiskey Myers right now on that tour, so I'll lump them into that. For the 4th, I would probably pick, not that he's a heavy hitter, but I saw him with his solo band doing all of his songs a couple years ago, and it was so good. I would pick Ricky Medlock doing Blackfoot songs.
Ooh.
And then for the 2 up-and-comers, I guess they're still considered an upper-comer. Like you said, they're not doing a whole lot. But I would pick the Georgia Thunderbolts because those guys rip.
Yep.
And probably Robert John and the Wreck.
Nice.
Those guys really wowed me at the Shed. I was really...
I need to see him live.
That one song, Cold Night, man, I love that song. That's my get up and feel good song.
We could have thrown then Dirty Roses in. Like, there's a lot of really great bands out there that
there are so many. Like I was saying to Brian before, you just have to get digging. Yeah, good music is not put in front of us anymore, and it's tough to. You have to look for it, and you have to rely on the algorithm, which kind of sucks. But that's why I like what we're doing, because word of mouth is still the best.
Yep.
And by I wrote down every band you talked about today so I could go check them out and get some new music so my
I
wife
do
doesn't have
have
to
a
listen to
Blues
Blackberry
Fest
Smoke every
lineup,
day.
though. If you want to
Let's
hear my
hear it.
Blues Fest lineup,
Let's hear it,
we're
then
gonna
we'll
go
wrap it up.
Leilani Kilgore,
Okay.
JD Simo, just freaking amazing. I just saw him playing live. Christopher Kingfish
Okay.
play. Samantha Fish, Eliza Niels, Joanne Shaw Taylor.
Damn.
And
I
if
like
I
it.
throw one more, it'd be Bonamassa, but that's too obvious, so we're going to keep him off this one.
Heavy on the female-fronted blues artists, too. I like it.
I think right now, the newer, lesser-known or up-and-comers, I think the female bullpen is really strong right now.
Yeah. Which is good. We need more of it. We need variety. We need, I don't know. I always laugh at people that are, like, afraid to admit that they like female artists, because it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you ashamed of that?
Nope.
But
I like it
that's
all.
why I proudly fly my I Loved That Paramore concert flag, because I'm like, it was a good show. What are you
I
gonna
would
do?
totally go to their concert, because I guarantee I would know more songs than you think. And plus, I already told you After Laughter is a guilty pleasure for me. I would 100% go.
Yeah.
And somebody there would think I'm like somebody's dad at this point because I'm that old, and I don't give a shit. I don't care. You can think I'm there with my kid. That's fine.
Take your daughter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She's 21, right age.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Please share with everyone where they could find you and where they could listen to you, watch you, interact with you. Plug.
We have a Facebook group, All Things Blues and Southern Rock. It's private just to keep the spammers out, but you just request
The furniture salesman.
Yeah, we were getting like sofa cover people. Just request, and it's kind of helps if you have like something on your page about music and at least try to answer the questions.
Yeah.
So we're that. What else do I do the Facebook stuff, and Jason does
I do Instagram, then Threads automatically populates. So we're on Twitter, but we don't do a lot with Twitter. It's more me yelling at the Cincinnati Reds, and more music related. So Instagram, Threads, or Facebook is really the best place to catch us.
Wonderful. Do you guys sell merch? I see some shirts out in the wild.
VIP, baby. And you I think you're working your way into being a VIP, so I think we can probably figure out a way to get you a shirt.
Very good. I'm a 2XL depending on the brand.
Just message me your address and shirt size. So
cool.
And the shirt sizes run true.
So I have a prompt already. If and when we do this again, we are going to talk how Lynyrd Skynyrd had one of the greatest debut albums of all time, and then followed it up with one of the greatest sophomore albums of all time. The hardest thing to do in music, follow up a killer debut album. So we're going to talk about that, because
that's Brian's wheelhouse.
Bands like that too. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean the Stones, Aerosmith,
just
Toys and the Attics, Rocks,
Boston.
Think of all the songs that they put on Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, and you're like, that's on their first crack.
That's like all the radio songs that you hear.
It's
like
on
their classic rock radio. Every single one of them.
And then album 2, they come out. We'll do a whole thing about it. I promise. It's going to be a good one.
And we'll talk about Milli Vanilli's 2 albums too, because
I can't even hardly
it.
wait. I'm opening my Google Calendar now to plan it. So, all right, fellas. Well, thank you so much for being the honorary first guests on the Covered in Smoke podcast.
Thank you.
For those that are going to attack me in the comment section for not talking about Blackberry Smoke the whole time, we talked about him a decent amount. So you know what? All comments are good comments in the world of social media. So
go to our podcast. Charlie's been on 4 times, Paul Jackson twice. And the second time he was on, he talked about the Stoned album, the whole process too. Screw Dean Del Rey. We did it first. Fuck you, Dean.
Jeepers, crime. I'm embarrassed for not bringing that up.
It was like 4 years ago. It's all right.
Merch manager extraordinaire Eric Snoddy has also been on.
Yeah, correct.
Good. I'm gonna have to conspire with you guys. Charlie's my white whale, so I feel like I would be way up high to start. But
we take cash, Venmo, and PayPal.
I do want to say to the listeners and especially the viewers, thanks for hanging in with all the tech demons. I think they were trying to attack Tyler through me.
You
so.
infected Tyler's podcast platform.
Well, I have a no data center sign out in my yard, so
Yeah,
Nice.
I brought it upon myself.
that's right. Power to the people, baby. I love it.
Didn't Ohio just have a big win on that? That's a whole
For
other
now-
conversation for another time. We'll take
for
that
now,
off air to
for now.
ruffle some feathers. So
Ohio has the most corrupt state legislator out of all 50 states, and the old Speaker of the House has been in prison for financial corruption tied to first. And it's a whole thing we'll talk about some other time. This isn't a politics podcast.
Yeah.
But they balance out their karma by having the most Bigfoot sightings lately.
True, we do have bit.
all right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.